Yeah.
Hey, this is Josh. I like that picture behind you.
Thank you.
For the bottle too.
Good. 5 o'clock here, so we're going to get started. We have our guest, Bill McKenna. I don't know if he's on the line yet.
No, I don't see him.
Yes, good to see Sherry tonight. And congratulations to, good to see Bruce Lee. Congratulations to Szilard and all the Hungarian members. They just got done with their CP event, which was excellent. Brother Benson, I heard you did a fantastic job on Friday for their event.
Blast.
How was that experience for you?
It was really great. I mean, to see how hungry. So people, when I tell people that a book has been translated to Hungary, and they say, why did you translate the book first in Hungary? I said, well, I'm looking for hungry people, you know, and Hungary seems to.
That's it.
It was really a great experience. You know, their hunger to really go out there and do something. And Bradosa is doing an amazing job with those people. So it was really, really good to be able to serve them.
Well, that's great. I spoke for them on their Saturday, our Saturday morning, but their Saturday evening. And it was really, really great, you know, to see our members out there in Hungary and having their event and being able to really take everything that we're learning in CP and helping change lives, because that's really, at the end of the day, this is really what we're doing. But Benson, you had a wonderful, you sent me an email a few months back, maybe it was a couple of months ago, and you had talked about how we ask ourselves in CP, what are we doing to change the lives of other people? And I thought that was a great insight and great concept, because that's something that we want to ask ourselves. You know, how are we taking our lives to help change the lives of other people? And, you know, that's probably one of the greatest services that we can do, is be at our very best so that we can help other people be their best. I like that. I'm inspiring myself. Yeah, I'm gonna buy my own tape. So it's great to have everyone on our CP call. Munda, it's good to see. Is that? Yeah, that's Munda all the way. Now, where are you at, my dear?
At home, but I have so cold.
Now, what country are you calling from?
I'm calling from Belgium.
From Belgium. Okay, so you're still in Belgium. Wonderful.
Yes, working.
That is so awesome. And Sadiq's in, help me here, love. Kuwait. So, you know, our members are so dedicated because.
We got Marta from Hungary down here.
Yeah, that's right. All the way from Hungary. So, you know, our members are so dedicated because, you know, when you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning for these calls, at 2 o'clock in the morning, that shows the real commitment and the hunger and the dedication and your service back to everybody within our mastermind group and our CP family, because of the importance that when we get together like this, we join our energy together, and it's really, really a very powerful thing. And when you're not on the calls, we miss you. You know, your energy is so important to the overall development of our whole group. So thank you in advance for getting on these Sunday calls. I see that we have our guest Bill McKenna on the line. I think he just stepped away from his desk, but I think he'll be right back. And I'll wait till he comes on so we can give him a good introduction. And make sure you have your notes. Bill, it's good to have you with us. Let me just give you a quick introduction. So Bill McKenna is our guest tonight, and he is the author of this fantastic book called The Only Lesson. Now, I saw Bill on Gaia, where he was talking about, he was on Regina's Meredith's program, and I saw him talk about, and they were interviewing him, talking about a very, very unique healing modality that we're going to get into tonight. And I contacted him because I shared with you last week how I had been developing some chronic pain in my shoulder, and I couldn't get completely rid of it. And so I had even was ready to go to the doctor to get some x-rays, because I told Melinda that, you know, there's something definitely wrong here because I use different modalities on it. And before I went to the doctor, I had happened to turn into Gaia, and of course how God works. You know, it always puts you in the right place at the right time. And I saw Bill's interview there, and he talked about a modality we're going to talk about tonight. And I was so amazed at the results that I got almost instantaneously that I found him on the internet, and I reached out to him. We had a wonderful call together. He's also the inventor and the founder of this wonderful modality, and we're going to talk about that hopefully tonight as well. So a lot of good stuff. Bill, it's good to have you with us tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're excited about all the good things that you're doing out there in the field. And so let's talk a little bit. First of all, let's talk a little bit. Your book, I love. It's fantastic. You have quite a history from being a helicopter pilot to being a black belt, owning in the past several businesses. You got a lot of rich history there.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs. That kind of a strange long path, but you know, in hindsight, it all makes sense. You know, they all had valuable lessons in.
Yeah. Yeah, go right ahead.
So I know I have limited time, right? I have about how many minutes, just so I make sure I don't overstep or understep.
Well,
you know, I'll make sure I get the appropriate message.
Yeah, you know, we have up to an hour, and one of the things on our calls is we never really have, quote, an agenda, because we like to follow the energy. So we're good for an hour.
Okay. So one of the kind of the big gift that I wanted to make sure to get to everybody today is to empower them, right? You and everyone else on the call is a lot more powerful than they realize. And that kind of sounds a little bit cliche, but I'm very much about what works, what actually works, not what, you know, it's like, oh yeah, that person can do it because, you know, they're a genius or they've been given a special gift from God or whatever. Everybody has these abilities, but they got some disinformation early on in life, and that ended up kind of creating a situation where they weren't fully empowered. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I learned, and so that I can empower you today. And maybe some of you might even get to experience it if you want to. So does that sound okay with you?
That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share with you a little information that I put together. I call it the mole, or it is the basically. Bear with me 2 seconds here. I have to pull it up. Here it is. Here. Okay, and here we are. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to minimize this, and I'll try to expand here. Okay, this is what I developed, the Map of Awareness Levels, MOAL, or MOLE. And once you understand different dimensions and what the characteristics of the dimensions are, you can see where you're at now. And I'm going to teach you today how to jump in between these frequencies or dimensions, so that you can start to do what would be considered supernatural or miracles, right? And because we have a limited amount of time, I want to just kind of jump right to the critical portions. The third dimension is where pretty much almost everybody you meet. If you studied the work of Dr. David Hawkins, who has the levels of consciousness, it's pretty much 99.6% of humanity is all going to be down somewhere in the third dimension of some kind. So the third dimension is the home of conditional love. So everything is kind of duality, meaning yours and mine. Laws and rules fit perfectly with that. Institutions, it's the home of institutions. So institutions creating rules and hierarchies. There's a lot of always and never being good enough. When you're in the third dimension, typically you find people are having very strong reactions to what they don't want. In the political arena, right, you find that this is playing itself out in our political arena today, even more so than ever. Your ego has really three modes in this, and they play out in this dimension. Either you want something, you didn't get what you want, or you're indifferent. So I compare this happens very, very quickly for people. I compare it to like the trip to 7-Eleven. You walk into 7-Eleven, well, in the United States, that's a convenience store for everybody internationally. But you walk into the store and you want something, right? And then it's not there, or you didn't have the brand that you want, and you have what they call thwarted wanting, which is you're not getting what you want. You have a feeling about that. Now, the people that are walking in the store, you don't even notice them. You can't tell what they're wearing. You really don't care. So you jumped in between all three modes by just a quick trip to the convenience store. These and within the store, maybe you see somebody that you really like, and you want them to say hi to you or notice you, and then they don't, and then you have some feelings about it. So you jump in between wanting, thwarted wanting, and indifference. This keeps you from an ability to create miracles. You have a very limited ability to create miracles. You see everything in judgment, meaning it's good or it's bad, right? Or there's an indifference. Time is also a factor in this third dimension, and that is that people's focus is typically on the past or on the future, and whatever's happening here and now is just a reaction, or it's out of tradition or something like that. The understandings are typically shame, guilt, humiliation, competition, despair, apathy, fear, your craving and desire or pride, inflationary pride, right? And feeling demanding or condemning. You see things happening to you, or like you forced it. Like, I'll tell you how it's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen, right? So that summarizes the third dimension. What I'm going to teach you today is how to jump to the fourth dimension. We'll spend very little time here in the fifth because it's kind of a stair step, right? This is the area that we get the training wheels off of the bicycle. In the fourth dimension, you start to experience unconditional love. And this is kind of a spectrum, if you will. You can jump in between dimensions and to different degrees be in the dimension. So for the third dimension, it's typically characterized by a feeling of gratitude. There is cooperation and not competition. You become an observer without judging, meaning you can see something happen, but you don't necessarily judge it as good or bad. You also you find that absolutes start to erode in this dimension. You know, that the always and never goes away. Your in the fourth dimension, you start to let go of your judgments and assumptions, and your ego becomes kind of neutralized, if you will. You're neither wanting, you're not upset that you didn't get it, and you're certainly not indifferent. Time becomes malleable. This sounds really weird, I know, but until you experience it, you just we're stepping into kind of some whole new information here. But I can tell you from experience, this is actually true, and we can take you to kind of the next step so you can experience it. But the range of understanding in this fourth dimension is willingness or optimism, acceptance, being trusting, forgiving, genius level creativity starts to emerge. And by the way, these are completely natural. With as you forgive, accept, and these sorts of things, you notice and start to let go of judgments. this genius level creativity naturally emerges. And as I mentioned before, this is the home of unconditional love. You start to see things happening through you or by you, but not as a force of will. And you have an ability to create miracles quickly. In the fifth dimension here, things happen almost instantaneously. You think about it, and it happens. And I do teach this type of stuff, but for the purposes of this talk today, what I'm going to teach you is how to jump from the third to the fourth. And but in the fifth dimension, the thing that you have to be very ready for is that you need to master every emotion that you have, because it sounds really cool that things happen instantaneously, but if you do not have a mastery over your emotions, then whatever you think happens instantly. If you're angry and you walk in the room, the TV blows up. The vase falls off of the shelf, and breaks. So you have to kind of master your emotions before advancing to this level permanently, because you can create a lot of chaos. But ultimately, things happen as you in this fifth dimension. Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second because I have downloaded a lot of information, and before going into the actual demo, see if anybody has any questions or anything they'd like to know.
When we talk, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so when we talk about the fifth dimension, really, if you study the Bible, Jesus operated in that fifth dimension. There was a time when his disciples, when he was coming into Jerusalem, and said, look, at everybody is praising and worshiping you. And he said, if they didn't do it, the very rocks themselves would cry out. So Jesus is a very good example of operating in the fifth dimension as I see it at this point in time in space.
Yeah, he was. And that is, I'm going to make a comment about that. First of all, yes, he was in the fifth dimension. There was something very important that he taught. And he was teaching everybody how to kind of do miracles. But because people were not at the same level of consciousness as Jesus, they're trying to interpret what he's saying. And they misinterpreted some things. One of the things is that everybody who has heard, if you ask for it in Jesus's name, it'll be given, right? Everybody's heard that before. But that word, he spoke Aramaic back in the day, and the word was basem. And that word, basem, can be interpreted in two ways. The first way it can be interpreted is literally in my name, or in my method. Now, if you look at in my method, what did he talk about? He talked about unconditional love, and he talked about unconditional love means unattached to an outcome, and seeing the perfection in another. So he loved people, he didn't have an attachment to an outcome, and he saw the perfection in them. And that was it. So this has been talked about and taught in the Kabbalah, in the Hindu text, the Vedic text. It's talked about doing without wanting. Do without wanting. So in all across cultures, in different religions, across the world, it's kind of been hidden and twisted, but not extremely clear, where anybody can do it like here and now. So how do you, let's say, for example, somebody is in emotional pain or physical pain, that sort of thing. What we do is we simply see the other person as perfect, blissful, happy, joyful, and want absolutely nothing. And when I say absolutely nothing, I mean not even a hint of I want gratitude, or I want an outcome, or I want them to get better. I merely see them as happy and perfect now. There's not even a thought of an outcome. It's just here and now. And that's it. So this has absolutely nothing. Also, another misstatement, which is unbelievable. But your entire life, you've been taught you just have to believe. You know, if the person just believes, they'll be healed. And the truth is, you, Benson or Monda or Patricia, any one of you, if you see the person as perfect, it doesn't matter if they believe anything. Matter of fact, don't believe it. And the results are the results. So you see their perfection and you have the effect on them. And the reason is because you have entered into the common denominator, the thing that is common in between you and them is unconditional love. Love unattached to an outcome. Very, very simple. But this will never be real for you until you actually experience it. When you experience it the first time, it is just mind-blowing. Like, what the heck just happened? Because I can't even believe that this is actually true and this actually happened. So today we'll actually do this, okay? And we'll how many minutes in am I right now? We're 24 after, right?
Yeah, we're good.
We're okay?
So good.
Okay, all right. I don't want to violate anybody's time here. So here's what I'm going to do, okay? Now, all of you, Benson, there's 15 people on the phone, right? Do you all have the ability to go get a glass of water? So, it could be a Coca-Cola, glass of water, cup of coffee, any liquid, in either a bottle or a glass or whatever, okay? So I'd like everybody to just go get a bottle of water or something, some
I
drink.
think most do have it because we did an announcement on that.
Oh, you did? Okay, you already have it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to click on something because I've never done this before. I want to see if I can see everybody out at the same time. Oh, how great is that? Look at that. All right. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 14 people on my screen. Hopefully that's everybody. So here's what I would like you to do is now some of you I cannot see,
Yeah.
but
their video off.
Video off.
okay, all right. So the very first thing before we go is I want you to get a pad of paper or just get a piece of paper and a pen or something like that, and whatever it is for you, and this could be physical or emotional. I don't care, you know, my knee hurts, my neck hurts, my ear, I got a headache, whatever it might be. I got a canker sore, you know, whatever. So take that issue and put it on a scale of 1 to 10, or 0 to 10, that is. 10 is, oh my God, this is excruciating, horrible, and 0 is nothing, okay? Just mark it down, you know, this issue on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. Now, if you don't have a physical thing, then you probably have an emotional thing of some kind because everybody does. So put that thing on a scale of 1 to 10. And just put it down on your piece of paper. This is kind of neat. You've got a lot of men here. The groups I talk to are usually heavily weighted to women, but this is cool. So we got a nice blend. We have kind of some men and some women. Okay, so now I assume everyone has put their issue down as to, you know, the severity of this thing. Okay? Now, what I'd like you to do is I would like you to take this has, by the way, I don't want anybody to believe diddly ding dang dong. You feel how you feel. Your issue is your issue. If it gets better, it gets better. But this is not about you believing that it's going to get better. That I don't want you to do anything. You're not going to do any special meditations or anything. All you're going to do for me is hold up your glass of water so I can see it. Okay? So I'd like you to just hold it near the camera so I can see your glass of water or your coffee or whatever it is you've got to drink. Okay? And you're going to hold it there for about a minute while I do this thing for you. Okay? So I'm going to kind of go silent for a couple of minutes, and then I'll be back. Okay? Don't do anything with the water. Just hold it up where I can see it. Okay? Okay. So, what I want you to do now is everyone can take 2 gulps of their water and then go walk, take 2 gulps and then go walk to the far side of your house. Let's just say, something like that. And then make a figure 8 and come back. Okay, now go and take 2 more gulps and then go do it again. Go walk. Okay? And this time I want you to walk twice the distance. And at the end, imagine there's a figure 8 on the floor and then walk the figure 8 a couple times. Okay, great. Okay, so everybody's coming back online here. So fantastic. So what I'm going to have you do now is we're not done yet, but I'm just going to, in the interest of time, I'm just going to have you check in now. I want you to the piece of paper with the issue that you had. Go ahead and write down what number it is now. Just evaluate. If it was a 10 and it's still a 10, put a 10. If it was a 10 and it's 0, put that down. Whatever it is, but just mark that down on the paper at this time. Okay. Okay. So now just maybe one by one, you could just take them offline just so that every one by one they can speak and just say, okay, here's what it was, here's what it is, if you could.
Patty, why don't we start with you because you're up in the upper hand corner.
Okay. I want to first say I appreciate you, Bill. I've been following you, and I've seen,
Oh,
yes, I have seen your ball when you first created it and
oh,
tossed it.
great.
Yes, it's very, very impressive, and it does work.
Oh, good.
So,
Well, I'm glad you tried it.
yes. So during the experience that you just walked us through, I have chosen the level of love because
Well, sweetie, we need a number from you, from where you were at to where you're at.
I was on 7, and I worked down to the level 2, doing the exercises, drinking the water, walking, doing the level 8, walking the 8 like the infinity sign. I walked outside on the second, taking the second sip of water. I walked outside, done the double exercise of length, and was out in Mother Nature, and it really worked me down onto a level 2.
Good.
Okay.
I
Good.
want to
Great.
appreciate what you have taught us. Thank you.
Brother
Good.
Benson,
Well-
why don't you go ahead?
Oh, he was gonna say something.
Oh, go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. Anybody who wants to say what it was can say it. If they don't want to say it, don't say it. But if you want to just say the number, that's okay too. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Who's next?
Brother Benson?
I would say I was at 5, and at the end, I am at the 4. If I'm understanding you well, that 4 is the lower the number. Is that moving in the right direction?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
so 5 and 4.
Okay.
Who's next? Babe? Bruce?
I can go.
Okay, go ahead, Sonia.
I was at a 8 and I'm at a 6 now.
Okay. Great.
Anybody else?
I'll go ahead and so it's unique. So right before we actually got on this call, I had a very, very challenging thing come up that has a long-standing history with me and my family that put me at about an 8.5 or a 9. And after completing this exercise, honestly, most of it has passed to where it's probably brought me down to about a 3.5. So I'm very, very intrigued at how this has worked so successfully. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Brother Jeffrey?
Brother Jeff? You're muted,
Let's-
Brother Jeff. There you go.
Okay.
There you
Went from a 6 down to a 0 and went away. Just totally went away.
go. Nice.
Awesome.
Yes. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Josh, can you, there you go. Go ahead, Wanda.
Number 4.
Where were you at when you started?
I start from 0.
Good.
Interesting.
So you were at a
Sure.
4 and you went down to a 0?
Yes, like this.
Good. Bruce?
Yes, this is an interesting thing that's going on here. And it's like a lifting feeling. And yes, I went from a 7 down to a 3. That was quite intriguing. I enjoyed this.
Good. Stephen?
Yes, with my issue, I went from a 9 down to a 7, so I found this effective.
Excellent. Sherry, can you talk?
Yes. Mine's sort of weird. I went from a 9. My logic keeps saying 6, but 5 keeps flashing. It's sort of like I'm supposed to put 5 down, but logically, my mind keeps saying, oh, it's 6. So I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I don't know if Melissa's there and if she participated or not, or she's on the road.
Hi, I'm driving.
I thought so. Go ahead, Melissa. Were you able to participate?
Not really. I got the gist of what was happening, but my Bluetooth thing kept going in and out. but I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the replay to really get the whole thing.
Okay, no problem. Richard, were you able to do it, my dear?
Yeah, I was on an 8 or so, 8.5, and then down to a 6. So it's heading the right direction.
Good, good. What about you, love?
So I was at a 6 and went down to a 3.
Okay.
And I was at an 8 and I went down to about a 6.
Okay. So we did not, so everybody's got their water there. So you can continue to drink it as I continue to talk. And we can check in later, you know, as I'm talking. I wanted to stop because I wanted to make sure I get through everything. But just keep drinking your water. And at the end, if you have something significant change, you can come on and just tell everybody that there's a change. It takes a little while. For some people, it could be up to 20 minutes. But most people, you drink, you walk, and it comes down. You start, let's say, a 9. It drops down to a 6. You drink some more. It drops down to a 5. You drink some more. It drops down to a 2 more, and then it goes to 0. So it's a walk down. It's a step down process, and the walking around seems to help a little, kind of accelerate it. But if you still just drink as we talk, we'll see what happens at the end. So what just, you know, that's a little bit mind-blowing, right? You know, what just happened? We're sitting here and this crazy guy has us drinking water out of my own tap, and you know, now I don't feel the same. So all I did was very, very simple, and you can do this too. So what I can do is I can marry up on this call, you know, 2 of you or more of you, people that haven't gotten it all the way down yet. So the way it works is very, very simple. All you do is see the perfection in another, bliss, right? And that's all you can see is here and now. I saw all of you in bliss and happiness and joy, and I didn't want anything from you. I didn't want even a thank you. I didn't want a result. I just saw you as perfect and happy, unattached to an outcome. If I can do that, I can start to affect. And notice that there's so many of you, there's 15 of you, you know, I can't concentrate on any one of you. So I'm doing all of you at the same time. So all of you are involved with the Carnegie principle. You're all involved in business, right? You'd like to have higher performance in your business life. One of the ways to do this, utilize this, is when you walk into a meeting, you see the perfection in others, and that's it. You just see that, and you're not judging them, any of them, for any of the stuff that they've done in the past, or the way that they look or act or whatever, the shoes they're wearing or their bad breath. You know, you just see them as happy and blissful and joyful, and want nothing, and not be afraid of anything as well. So the fear is like, this won't work, or somebody's going to judge me for doing it, you know, that sort of thing. The other trick here is that there is no effort. It is, there's no effort on your part. You just see this. If you're putting in effort, it won't work, because effort is a derivative of wanting, right? If I want something, I got to put in a lot of effort, right? It's just, you just see this quite naturally. So if anybody would like to try this now, would anybody, so I would need to have anybody who is not at a 0. If you're not at a 0, get a different glass of water, or a different coffee, or something that I did not charge. Okay? So if you want to participate, just maybe you can raise your hand or something like that, that you want to try this out. Anybody who wants to see how it goes? So Joshua wants to try it out. Is there anybody who still has physical or emotional issues? Okay, Stephen, you want to try it out? And whoever wants to be the person to do it, and then I need somebody who's in pain. So Monda, you're at a 0. Obviously you could try to do it to somebody else, but you're already at a 0. Okay.
But I'm Sherry.
Hey, Sherry. Okay. So what I need to do is have somehow here, and Dawn, I'm going to kind of ask for your help to pair people up. People who don't necessarily have a tight relationship. I want people that are, you don't live together or whatever. So the people who have pain and the people that want to do a healing. So both raise your hands, I guess. Okay, there we go. So maybe, Stephen and Dawn, Stephen Jacobs and Dawn, you guys can pair up. And then I have Sherry, and is there somebody else who has their hand up? I'm sorry, I'm not, I think Richard, did you want to? I think I saw you, Richard, that you wanted to do it.
No, I want to get healed.
Sherry wants to work with somebody. Okay, here we go. Sherry and Joshua. Okay, Sherry and Joshua, I want you guys to pair up. And anybody else that needs a partner? Anybody?
Sonia.
Okay.
I'll go with Sonia.
Sonia and Sonia. Okay, there you go. You guys are paired up. Okay, now here's what you do. You need to have your camera on so the person can see you. Okay, so this is all you do. Have your partner lift up their water so you can see it.
Okay.
And now just follow my direction. Look at the person and kind of take a mental picture of them. Notice them. And now what you do is you imagine them in the cup of water that you can see. And they are in the cup of water and they are absolutely blissful. They're joyful, they're blissful, and that's all you can see. There's no thought of the past. There's no thought of the future. You only see them as perfect, blissful, and happy in that water right now. You can close your eyes and just see them in that water. It's the most happy, blissful person you've ever seen in your life is in that water now. You're not thinking about any outcome. If you think of an outcome, let it go. Let go of an outcome. It's just here and now. They're happy, they're blissful, they're joyful. There's no effort. It's quite simple. Put the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth, relax, and just keep going back and seeing them in the glass of water in all of their happy, blissful joyfulness. And you don't want anything out of this. You don't want them to be better or anything. There's no wanting or thought of them being better in the future or anything actually happening to anybody. It's just you see one thing. The glass is lit up like the sun, as bright as the sun. They're in it. They're happy. They're blissful. They're joyful. Okay, that's good. All right, now go ahead and give the whoever now drink your water and then go walk around. So 2 big gulps of water and then go walk around.
Okay.
Same thing as before.
And go walk. And then my circle of 8.
Okay, and then take a couple more gulps and walk again. If you got back, just take 2 more gulps and then go walk again. Take 2 more gulps and walk again if you just getting back from the first time. Okay, I think everybody's coming back. Just about there. We got almost everybody's back.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're just missing Patricia and Richard. Okay, Sonia's back. All right, Richard's back. Awesome. There you go, Patricia's back. Awesome. And everybody's back. Okay, so Dawn, if you could just go one by one and just again, have the person tell. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Why do I feel like I want to crack up laughing? I just feel like I want to crack up laughing.
Joy and laughter is a high frequency.
You know, I must say that because this is how I seen her. I visualized Sonia as being happy and throwing her hands up in the air and just being happy and just full of joy.
I was just getting ready to just crack up. I was like, oh my God. And I feel really good. I feel like
That's awesome. That's great. So you're Sonia. When you were before she started to now, what was the level, and what I assume it's a 0 now.
It's
but
a 0. I feel really, really good.
What was it before?
It was a 6. Well, it was an 8, and then it went to 6, and now it's a 0. Like.
All right. Very good. That's a good day. That's a good day.
Great day. Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now I want to point out here that is a miracle. You know, it is extremely natural, but it is in fact a miracle that you experienced that today. And I want you to celebrate that, because it is so incredibly natural and it feels like nothing. It really feels like nothing. Like what? I didn't do anything. That's no big deal, right? But it's a big deal. You know, she jumped dimensions. When you jump dimensions, the way she sees you is the way you become. So this is extremely powerful. So anyway, okay, sorry. Go ahead, next.
Stephen, you want to unmute yourself and.
Yeah, I went from a 7 to a 3.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Who else, Patty?
Yes. When I was doing the walking, the symbol of affinity, you know, the H shape, was giving me bliss, and that helped me to go back onto a 0 and feel bliss.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bruce?
Yes. Well, I would say the about the 3 or 4 that I was, it's down to probably a 2. I'm definitely feeling happy. That much I can tell you.
That's awesome.
That's good. Josh?
Yeah, so this definitely works. Yeah, I mean, again, I started off at an 8.5 or a 9, causing some almost unique emotions that I don't show or have very often. The first time we did this brought me to a sense of relaxation, so around a 3.5 or a 4. But especially, Bill, as you were able to talk about, again, seeing somebody in their perfect limelight, and to have that peace, the calm about it, really has brought me to a place of relief. So thank you very much for sharing your time and this gift with us. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Thank you.
Great. Did you get down to a 0?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Great.
Anybody else?
All right. Well, I'm glad that, you know, not only did you experience it, but you got to do it to each other. So congratulations. And with 1 minute to spare, there we go. Thank you for having me on. There is, I didn't really talk about this, but this is a significant tool for processing the events of life and also for manifesting too. There's you can learn more about it at cognomovement.com.
Yeah, Bill, can you give us your website and all your information so that we can go to your website and look at all of this?
Sure. There's really a few websites, but Cognomovement, COGNO, movement, MOVEMENT.com. It's all one word, cognomovement.com, and that talks about this this discovery. This discovery is equally what you got to experience today. This was equally as interesting. It's you experienced mind over matter today, and this is matter over mind. These are two different things. So you can find out about that there. There's another website, Bill McKenna Events. There's I'm on Facebook at Bill McKenna Author, and there's a number of different videos and educational type stuff, interviews and stuff you can see on YouTube. Also, if you just Google Bill McKenna, I think Regina has several there interviews, or Bill McKenna and Dimensions and stuff like that. There's a few multiple interviews on Gaia.com as well.
Perfect. That is so awesome. And you know, Bill, when we do all of this, and it's so amazing because really we're talking about quantum physics. I mean, if we get down to the scientific principle of all these things, it's fantastic. I think one of the dilemmas that I've experienced, a couple of things, I wanted to address the laughter part. I remember I was probably about 17 years old, teenager growing up in church. And our church had on a Friday night, had an all night, actually it was a Sunday night, excuse me, Sunday, had an all night prayer meeting. And about 1 o'clock in the morning, I had this feeling of laughter in the deep recesses of my belly. And I was trying to restrain it because I'd never heard anyone laugh. In fact, when I grew up, if I laughed in church, I got pinched by my mom. And she was a good pincher, right? She was a good pincher. So we didn't laugh in church. And I remember that I was trying to hold this thing back. It almost felt like gas, but it was laughter. And it came out. And when I started laughing hysterically, I couldn't stop. And then everybody in that church that was in that prayer meeting that night was laughing hysterically. They couldn't stop laughing. And I was afraid that the pastor, I thought I was going to get in trouble from the pastor. And he said, what everyone experienced tonight was called a Holy Ghost laughter. Now that's how he expressed it. And he said that was something that was really miraculous. And what was interesting is that many of the people that were in that meeting who had chronic problems got healed. Nobody laid hands on them. Nobody prayed for them. Nobody anointed them with oil. But it was that process that healed them. And I'll never forget that as a teenager. So when Sonia talked about this, I said, wow, that was like way back in 1976, 1977, that I thought I was going to get in trouble for laughing in church, and I couldn't help it. So, if we look at the life of Jesus, he had a very most unique healing ministry. I mean, he might put mud on your eyeballs. Yeah, he may spit in your eyes. He did a number of different things of modalities when he healed people. What I was impressed with you, Bill, when I saw you and Guy in your interview, of how easy this process, because I think as human beings, we are addicted to complicating everything in our life. If something is simple, we have this innate desire to complicate it. I mean, we just got to make this harder than what it is.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I really wanted to mention this, is most people are looking for an outcome. Most people want to see people at somewhere in their life where they think that they need to be. And to realize that we shouldn't be like that, all we have to see them in bliss so that they could have the outcome, that changed my whole perspective altogether. Because we're always looking for the outcome when we don't have to. It's already there. And if we just look for the happiness and the bliss in the now, is all we really need to do. That was such a profound thing. It was like a light bulb just went off on me today.
How simple that process was.
Yes. And you can do this, by the way. You like Jesus with the mud, right? I think he breathed in the mud or something like that.
Right.
And then he helped them with their eyes, right? So what I taught you today was just a simple method. You literally, it is your intention. In your intention that is pure, like that, if you breathe in, if you just literally breathe in, and you hold the intention of you're all absolutely perfect and blissful, and you hold this breath in and you breathe it out on people, literally that is all it takes. I saw this, it was very interesting. I was watching this one guru who there's a child with dysentery in India, and the guru is sitting there and they're like, please, my son is dying, he's got dysentery. And the guru is kind of like, picks up a banana. He's like,